This episode of More Than the Scoreboard is brought to you by the Danny Mahan Foundation. Founded by Terry and Annette Mahan, the foundation exists to shine a light on the opioid crisis impacting families across our nation. Their son, Danny, tragically passed away on January 3rd, 2019 from fentanyl. To learn more or to support their mission, visit www.dannymahanfoundation.org. Every donation goes directly toward non-medical care for addiction centers and rehab facilities, helping those in the fight for recovery.
What are you traveling around a lot too with the book and everything?
Yeah, with the book. Otherwise, I really wouldn't leave the island much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
it's
good.
out, and I'm going back for the whole month of October.
Are you?
Yeah, we're gonna do something at the bookstore, USC, which is cool. The USC bookstore on the Michigan weekend.
Good.
Yeah.
I think I saw that. You're the person that helped you write that book. What's her name? Lizzy?
Yeah, she's doing a lot of posting.
Yeah, she is. She seems kind of like a badass.
She is. She tells me when my shit is, and fucking, I don't have to think about nothing, but just turn. Thank God for the phone, right?
I know.
Man, stoked on
I know.
this,
Well,
technology.
it is important that I had you on this. I mean, I read the. Go ahead.
You do the show all the time?
I do, and it started out as getting coaches, mainly high school coaches. I got some college coaches on, and you remember Zamp, right? Zampese. I had him on.
Sure.
But it's more about like what's that?
Ernie or Ernie's son?
Kenny. He was a GA at SC, I think, before you got there.
Yeah,
Maybe right. I think he left. Yeah. So, but we just talk about leadership and just try and help coaches become better coaches and grow.
Gosh, that's needed.
Yeah, I agree. So I figured, just a couple things I just wanted to focus on. I know you're doing a lot of these and everybody's kind of focusing on, your story.
Yeah.
I want to focus on you and your thoughts on a lot of different things, leadership, because when I talk about you, Todd, and people ask about you, I tell them all the same thing. I'm like, if that man wanted to win a football game, you'd win the football game. You have something, when you played, you have something that I have never seen before in my life. And I'm telling you the truth.
Corby, really?
No, seriously, man. Like I watched it and I still remember going to the beach. I think I was a sophomore and you were a senior, and that summer and playing volleyball down in Newport. I still remember that. But no, I just think coaches need to hear from someone like you in regards to leadership and, parent involvement. I think that's big. So that's kind of the road that I wanted to go down.
I know a little bit about that.
I know you do. So let me go ahead and introduce you real quick, Todd. So Todd Marinovich, father, artist, author, and former football player, former quarterback. And everybody knows that. So that's why I introduced you the other way, because that's the guy I see. Hell of an artist, man. For people out there that are listening that didn't know that, go pull up some of his work, because it's impressive. It's impressive.
Appreciate it.
So real quick, get this out of the way. Just one question about the book. What made you want to write it, Todd?
I've kind of wanted to do it for a long time. It just wasn't the right timing of it, and it just out with my buddy Steve Wright, his wife being a writer, and he just got finished with the process when I ran into him, and he's like, "Todd, you should do it." And I had just moved to Hawaii, and it was the timing was perfect, and we busted it out in about a year.
Good. Well, it's a good book, and a lot of that stuff I kind of already knew. not the extent and stuff like that, but I mean, I saw you. Well, you came to Braxton State Championship game back in I think 18
Yes.
or 19, and
Yeah.
that was the last time I saw you. But you look great,
Thanks,
and
bro.
proud of you,
You too.
man. So, hey, let me ask you a little bit about just because you're a father. You
Yes.
have your
Six.
oldest is in high school, right?
Yeah. Sophomore in high school.
Where does he go to school?
He goes to Costa Mesa High.
Okay.
The Must.
Um, the Mustangs.
Yes. The
What
Mighty Must.
colors are
They're green and black and white.
they? Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But is he a quarterback?
He is. He's not playing quarterback this year. He's playing wide receiver, and that's his
Good.
kind of like me. That's what I wanted to play.
Is
And
it?
yeah, I didn't want to talk or be the guy. I just wanted to do my assignment, maybe catch a few touchdowns, and something happened to the quarterback. Got hurt, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a father, now to a high school athlete,
But
um,
we just go back on that
yeah,
by being really encouraged. We'll say encouraged to play the position. It was the best thing for me as a person to get me out of my comfort zone. Because if I stay in my comfort zone, I'm not growing.
yeah,
Um, so it's not what I wanted to do, but I'm sure super glad that the family was supportive and like, you can do this. Yeah,
yeah,
because it's as you know, it's a tough position to play in a tough sport. So,
yeah. No, it's my oldest when he was in high school, he was a starting safety and
hmm
his sophomore year, and our quarterback went down or wasn't doing well, and the kid was a good quarterback, and I did everything in my power growing up just to kind of nonchalantly sway him away from that position.
I know,
And
I know what you mean.
luckily, he went on, played his college career as a safety,
Okay, cool.
um, which was a heck of a lot better than position you and I played. So,
Yeah.
have you the encouragement with that, with what you just said? Because I don't know if he's a really good quarterback. He probably is. He's probably really good at some other positions, and obviously receivers what he wants to play. How do you
Yes.
go about as a dad, just based off your own experiences, and how do you encourage that he just chase what his passion is on the football field?
Um. Well, that part has been kind of easy, letting him just choose his way, his path, and similar to you, I was trying to really redirect him away from the game, um, not just the quarterback position, just football in general. And he was just not having anything to do with it. So when I really realized this is what he wants to do, I just almost completely let go. And it's super, I shouldn't say easy. Um, Throughout this journey with him, watching him compete and play the game, um, for one, similar to me, there's only a few positions that I could play, and quarterback being one of them. Maybe a tight end type of thing I could have done. And he's similar. He's not going to knock you out with his speed. Um, so he's taken a year off. He's playing receiver and just really enjoying it. And then that's the best part, seeing him just have fun, because there does there seems to be not such a pressure filled position playing receiver,
Right.
so I'm
Yeah.
happy with that. Yeah.
Good. And another question I have, sticking on the parent thing is,
Yeah.
I being a dad, right or wrong, my whole thing kind of similar to your dad in the sense that if my kids, when my boys said that they wanted to do something, I made them commit. Like,
Yes.
if you want to go wrestle, you're going to wrestle the whole season. If you want to quit in the middle of the season, I get it, but you've made a commitment, so you're going to finish it out, and then after the season, you never have to do it again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that, but also there's that thing of, if you're also going to do it, you need to strive and do things to be the best at it that you can possibly be. And that holds true to anything in life, right? Not just the sports.
Yes.
How do you find the balance between
Yeah.
pushing them like you were pushed, and
Yeah.
the
Because
expectation of, listen,
yeah,
if you're going to do it right?
that has definitely not been easy. And the thing that I've really tried to convey to him, if anything, because I really try to stay out of the mindset like I know, because I really don't. I've had my experience with it. It's not going to be his experience. So, but I try to convey that if you want to be successful, you have to do more than the team does. Because I think a lot of young kids think, well, I was at practice. It's what you do when you're not at practice
Right.
that separates you. And I just don't think the new generation or your younger kids realize when you're watching your team on Saturday or Sunday, these guys have spent so much fucking time, and
Yeah.
it's like all I did, and all everyone did to get to that level. They just do it all the time.
Right.
There's no shortcuts, Corby, and you know that. And I try to encourage to do the extra, because it's going to pay off.
So from a parent standpoint, because you know this, but every time you turn around, no matter what sport it is, these parents are getting private trainers, whether
Yeah,
it's position specific,
yeah,
or just speed trainers, or they're lifting at school and then they're going and lifting with someone else.
yeah,
And I agree with you. Like, there's certain positions like quarterback, receiver, you need to go out in the off season a couple times a week, 2 or 3 times a week, and you need to throw,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
O lineman, I think, like Jonathan Heimbach, Jonathan, right?
yeah.
He has a place not far from here that he trains O linemen. It's called 5 as 1. And
Really?
I think, and he also brings them in, and he watches film with them. I think that's a great thing. I really do, for linemen.
Sure.
Um,
Nobody's
but
doing it, right?
what's that?
Not too. A few people are doing that for the. Well, yeah, it's great.
No. There's another guy in Arizona, you may or may not know. I played in the league for a long time. Snyder, I can't remember his first name, but he played at San Francisco. Adam Snyder, and he kind of does the same thing. But it's a good thing, right? So, but the parents are so consumed with getting their kids scholarships, getting their kids to the major leagues, whether that's NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA,
Yeah.
that they go overboard, and the next thing you know, all these kids are doing are sports, and there's no time for life.
Yeah.
And I know you experience that probably more so than anybody that I've ever met. But what would your suggestion be to parents as far as, listen, you have to let them experience life. You have to let them do things that feed their soul besides that extra preparation.
I thought. Well, I struggle with balance in my life. That's what my
Yeah.
whole juggling act is to balance things, and that's an ongoing ebb and flow that I have not mastered. But with the kids, I truly believe the more sports you can play, the better. And kids are getting scenes these days really specified to one sport, and that would have just drove me crazy. I so enjoyed basketball season. It was almost my favorite time of year,
Yeah.
because there's really no pressure, and it was more for fun. And I did better under this, shocking, but true. But then there's another case, though, that one of my closest friends, his son has just been baseball from like 3 years old, and it was driven by the kid. And I was worried. I was like, Jimmy, Jake's, by the time he's 12, he's going to be done. And it wasn't true. Jake's still, playing baseball, just got a scholarship. So a single sport guy, that it's dependent on the kid 100%. You have to know your child. And yeah.
Do you think, and I heard it, but I just want to hear you say it, but do you think that playing multiple sports growing up, and specifically in high school,
Oh,
um, helped you as an athlete overall,
yeah.
helped you as a quarterback?
Yeah. And especially basketball. I think that sport it's just breeds athleticism if you play that at an early age. And yeah, it helped. Basketball helped my football helped my they all help each other,
Yeah.
it,
Well, what's funny nowadays is I think the only high school coach, well, I shouldn't say the only, but generally speaking, the high school coaches that really push multi-sport athletes are football coaches because you have one season. And I
right.
know there's some club leagues because I would have kids be like, no, I'm not playing another sport. Why not? Because I'm playing spring football. No, you're not. You're not
Yeah,
going out and banging your body more. You
yeah,
got 10, 12 games to do it, and it takes its toll. But high school coaches now, they may say, yeah, I'm a multi-sport athlete guy, but when it comes
yeah,
down to it,
right.
the pressure they put on those kids is pretty intense.
Yeah, and I can only imagine because it wasn't as bad, I don't think, when we were going through it, but it still existed for sure.
You know, if you could tell parents of a parent of an athlete, a high school athlete, or
Uh-huh.
even a youth athlete for that
Yeah.
matter, one thing to really be aware of with their son or daughter, what would that be?
Wow,
I know,
to be
loaded
aware.
question. Yeah,
God, there's so many moving parts to the this, the team sport experience, and I'm such a freaking fan of that. And I don't care what sport it is. I just think the team aspect laid a foundation for me for life, and I didn't understand it when I was going through it. I didn't, and it wasn't didn't even
I
cross my
don't
radar.
think any of us understood that. I don't think we had the concept of that.
Yeah, and I make jokes like I would hear it, it's not about winning or losing, and I would be dumbfounded. What the heck is it about then if it's not? It's
Right.
it's winning, but it that's part of it, obviously, but that's not what stays with me today. It's not the wins and losses. No, it's relationships, bro, and you know that, and so super special that I had no idea. And the family, like the Trojan family that I heard my whole life, I kind of was like, that's bullshit. But is it?
Not, no, it's not.
No, no, it's real. And so I think I had a special experience because of where I went, but I believe you can have that anywhere.
Yeah.
But there's so many moving parts, like I was saying, the coaches, the scheme, um, the personnel. Um, there's so much going on that you can get lost focus of really what's important here.
Right.
And to me, what's important is the relationships and where you go to school and the education you get. Yeah, I think that's an amazing goal, and it's a goal that my son has is to get your college paid for. That is just freaking a great goal.
I
Uh,
agree.
yeah, so I support that 100%. And when I do talk with kids or I go to high schools, I just say all I have to share is my experience, and that experience at a collegiate level was by far and away the best experience of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's funny because my business partner and he was my roommate at Iowa.
Uh huh.
Um, and so he does a million different things, but we started this thing called Club Faction. And one of the things that we're doing is we're doing events. So we have something it's called the Tour Crucible, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a 6 to 8 hour military themed style. And we start at midnight and we go till 6 a.m. with these
Whoa.
high schools. And the last one we did was in Sioux City, Iowa, at Bishop Heelan High School. And the head coach there was one of our teammates at Iowa. He was a D lineman. And you
Mm-hmm.
talk about relationships, and man, we got there that morning and we had all day to kill. And we sat in his basement, and
Just
all we did for hours was tell stories. I mean, just tell stories
yeah,
and
yeah,
laugh our asses off. And
right.
I mean, the stories that were told, it's like, man, I forgot. That is the sickest. We had this one guy that played in the league for a long time, and he was a lineman, and
Of course
would
he was.
he would do some sick shit. I mean, your closest friends are your linemen that you played with at
Yeah.
SC, so you know. But it really is. And we started Club Faction because Derek, my old roommate, played for the Lions, broke his neck,
Oh,
became a chiropractor, and
really?
since then, yeah, he's just an extreme athlete. Done
Yeah.
I don't know how many Ironmans,
Oh shit.
Alcatraz swim. Yeah, he's nuts. But um, he's like, dude, we need to start this thing and bring people in. We have like a weekly meeting and for an hour, and we just talk about stuff. And he's like, it's that locker room mentality that I miss,
Yes.
you know. And I'm like, so do I.
Yeah.
The thing I miss most about coaching, besides the kids, is sitting in the locker room with the other coaches and bullshit.
Yeah.
Talking about coaches, because I want a lot of coaches, a lot of parents see this, but you've played for some coaches that you absolutely loved, and you've played for some coaches that you just didn't get along with. Uh,
True.
for whatever reason, what do you think the key ingredient for the guys that you really played for that you just loved? What do you think that key ingredient that all those coaches that you loved, what did they possess?
They all had a quality of like we're in this together rather than I how do I say it? The level seeing eye to eye of just that I'm not any less than, and because I can get caught up in that I am up here
Right.
and players down, and that's not when I think back, because I do, how did I feel, and if I felt comfortable, I relaxed and I played better. If I didn't feel comfortable, my performance suffered. And so it was the coach's ability to connect. That basically
Yes.
that's connect on a level that resonated with me in here, not up here, because I'm a total feeler. And if I got a feeling, like my best coach ever was a shooting coach that I had in before I got to modern day, Des Flood, and he was a Stanford guy and was just the sweetest, but positive affirmations, because we can always pick out what's negative. That's endless, and that can be just totally take the wind out of your sail. So he was just always picking out the positive and just giving me strokes, and
Right.
I did super under that type of teaching. And so that's one of the guys that I think of when I'm coaching or teaching. I like saying teaching because that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. The best coaches are teachers, right? I
Yeah.
mean, maybe not professionally, but know and understand how to teach. I've coached with some guys that were, you know, great position coaches, but in the meeting room, they couldn't get their message across. They couldn't
Uh,
teach the stuff, right?
yes.
How much? How much? Because one of the big things I was big on, and we were talking at the start, but I always tried to be super transparent with the
Yeah.
players, with the coaches, and probably to a fault. I think there are times where it bit me in the ass, but I wouldn't change it because that's
Yep.
who I am.
Yeah.
Much like you, I'm a feeler.
Yep.
Um, I remember my high school coach. I still talk to him, love him, but he was like hardcore. He backed up OJ at SC, little white guy. He
Dude,
would,
some coaches are the backups, not
yeah,
not the flashy starter. It's the
no,
guy who didn't have the gear, but had it up here, you know.
Yeah.
That,
But he would, like, this is how hardcore he was, Todd. He would smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day, but he'd run
yeah.
5 miles every lunch period.
Holy shit.
So there were times like him and I were butting heads all the time
Yeah.
in high school, but he had that ability to be, I don't want to say a dictator, but be the coach that was truly old school, hard knocks. Like, he'll get in your ass, but the minute it was over, right? And he would engage you in a way that brought me out, so I would open up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
how can coaches really reflect on, because every player is different. There's some players that love that and don't
Yeah.
want the Philly engagement crap, but there's other people, that's the other players, that's how they respond the most, and then there's some that can just take it.
Yeah.
So what's your recommendation to coaches on
Well,
really reflecting on players and their team personality and how to do that?
that's what, because of my experience playing quarterback, that has helped me so much with just people, knowing people and not putting everybody in a box. Because like you said, that's where, because being a leader, I cringed from that at the beginning because I was told what a leader has to do. And that's just one person's experience and their opinion about that. They may have had a leader like that, and those are the qualities that he possessed. So I struggled with it, what really a leader is, early on, until I just really took it, was okay with how I did it, because I'm different than, say, Rodney Pete,
Mm-hmm.
Guy that was before you,
Right.
and you're not going to be the same guy. And I just finally said, this is me, and I'm going to lead these guys because I just know innately I'm going to do it. I don't need to prepare, because it felt fake to me when I was not being myself. I'm not answering the question. I just went
No,
off on.
you're totally answering the question, I think.
But knowing the person is everything. Connecting with that guy and knowing what he needs for that particular moment is crucial, because I'm not going to get in somebody's ass, so to speak, if they are a sensitive type that's going to put them in a shell. I want, so everybody's got their button, and I just hope when I was playing that I pushed them at the right time,
Yeah.
and it can be so little, you know what I mean, Corby? It could just be a look to a guy, you don't, because I wasn't too much of the rah guy. And when I tried to put on those pants, it just didn't feel right. I was kind of laid back and just, let's just go get him.
You know what my observations were?
Uh,
And I still get chill. You were a rah-rah guy. But you were a rah-rah guy when you got pissed off.
yeah.
When you got pissed off, it was like, oh shit, there's Todd.
Yeah,
I
my
mean,
fault though. Then I would get caught up in a freaking.
yeah, but is it a fault though? I mean, and it's funny because I had Rob Johnson on, and we were roommates at SC, and we were the
Oh,
same age. Yeah, I had him on. He's coaching in Mission Viejo.
oh, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
So
for Rob.
anyway, but Rob and I were talking about leadership because he's coaching quarterbacks, and we spent a lot of time, like, him and I were two different types of leaders. Rob wasn't a big talker,
Yeah,
and he had so much talent
sure.
that kind of is what guys were attracted to.
All of
Where, yeah, I mean,
cheer.
I didn't have his talent.
Yeah,
So I had to find other ways, and I wasn't like one of those guys that just talk to talk,
yeah,
but I knew how to talk. I mean, we're at Iowa one time. We're playing Illinois. That's a whole nother story. Um,
I bet.
but we're getting our ass kicked in Champaign, and one of the linemen, Ross Verber, who played for the Packers forever, he wouldn't shut up. Like, he was being so negative. And finally I told him to shut the F up or I was going to kick him out of the huddle. Comes back the next play, still talking. I kicked him out of the huddle, and Coach Fry's on the sidelines like, and I'm like, send someone else in. And then he sat out for a play and came back in and got in the huddle and was like, sorry, Corb. I'm like, just shut up, dude. When I'm in a huddle, shut up. But was there a moment, because that's the other thing with leadership, and I think you'll agree, is that leadership is super uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
I haven't met a true leader that wants to take that on, like voluntarily.
Yeah.
Do you, was there a time where you realized that it's like, okay, people look up to me, I'm more responsible than, for this team than a lot of other guys, because that's really what it is. Leadership's a responsibility.
Yeah.
That just kind of kicked you in the butt and was like, okay, I need to own this and realize the position that I've been put in.
Yeah, I don't know when that took place for sure. But it did. I just don't know when. And it was a total process, bro, like anything. I didn't just jump into that seat and was like, let's do it. No, there was trial and error that was priceless. Through experience, I found what worked for me. And I wanted to give up many times on myself, on the position, the responsibility, everything. And just so grateful that I didn't, man.
Why didn't you, Tom? I mean, why? I mean, honestly, do you know why you didn't? Because I think a lot of kids struggle with that.
Yeah, I was so if I wasn't getting out something really real out of it, I would have walked away freaking long time ago. But there was something that I don't even know if today I can put into words, but I was having fun, and it was the most fun other than being in the water with friends and surfing, catching waves. It was team sports, and so I was I had that feeling about basketball too. So it was like, it sucks, but it'll really suck without it, and so it was something I didn't want to. I mean, it was definitely challenging as a MFer, but not enough to make me walk away. I have completely felt like I wanted to, but just never did.
Yeah. I got a couple more questions for you. They'll be quick. This one, because we had a guy on that played at NAU, played football there, and his name's Terry Mahan. He lost his 19-year-old son to fentanyl, and he was kind of in and out of rehab. But so I had him on. So we really focused on what coaches need to be aware of in regards to that kind of stuff. And quite honestly, with social media, with all the shit that's out there now, I mean, when we were growing up, you either drank or, people didn't, anyway. So what would you tell from a coach's standpoint? How can coaches, because and I know that a lot of times your coaches see you more and probably know more about you than I think someone called you. There you go. Than your parents do. So what's the one thing coaches should really take the time to be aware of, to do with their athletes, to really open up that line of communication where if the kids are doing something or did something, that they can have that safe space to go and talk to them about?
Bro, it's all about honesty, 100%, 100%. And I think kids tune into that more than any humans. They know, they feel when there's dishonest, they just don't buy into it. And that's, I think, the number one thing in all relationships is honesty. And I try to, because, I was hiding shit from the people close to me during those years. But there were a few coaches that I felt comfortable enough to be honest with. And that's saying a lot. And to address today's off the field issues, it is just staggering and baffling and scary as hell, because there's no recreational anything today. It's You could just die. And yeah, I'm scared to death of that for my kids and your kids and everybody's kids. It's just, that dialogue needs to be opened up. It's just it's an epidemic in our country, and we're really not talking about it. So yeah, to answer your question, it's truly, like we said, it's about the relationship and it being transparent to the point of where a kid can come to you. And that's what you want. That's what I want as a coach. That's what I want as a parent. I want no matter how ugly what they're going to tell me that they're so, possibly ashamed about, I just turn it back on me.
Right.
And I've done things that, would make the kid cringe. And so I try to be loose in the way of, you can't tell me anything that is going to make me think any different of you.
Right.
I don't care what it is.
That's good.
Yeah, and it's important, because without that, there's no growth that can happen. And that's really why I'm here, because I got a long way to go, Corbs.
Yeah, we all do, man. We all do. All right, last thing. What are you most thankful for? Sitting there outside in Hawaii, you're probably going to go to the beach right away and grab your surfboard and surf. What are you most thankful for?
I am most thankful that I'm here.
Yeah.
It's just because it's not my doing, man. I've made some very poor decisions in my life. And just to be able to feel the breeze, see you, I just am so grateful that I have an opportunity today to help somebody. Because, that's the magic that you just don't know. You just kind of find out, or I'm really grateful that I found out through my experience, is that I am walking on cloud 9 when I'm helping people.
Yeah.
And if I'm not helping people, I'm thinking about me. And when I'm thinking about me, I wreck the car.
I hear you.
Every time. So, yeah, I'm just stoked, bro, to be here.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Good to be here.
I really appreciate you jumping on, but just hang on a sec. I'm going to shoot off the recording. But Todd, I love you, brother. And thank you so much, man. Means a lot. Proud of you.
Thanks, bro. I'm stoked you're happy in Colorado.
Yeah, I am.